Hey guys, this is Rudy G Funk again. First, I want to kind of start off with a correction from my last video. The Carson Wentz killed Sashi. Eagles Truth gave me a comment, and it's kind of reminded me to check my numbers and stuff like that. And I really appreciate Eagles Truth commenting on it. He's a big Eagles fan. He helped me review what I did, and one of the things I did, or the only thing I did, was I basically kind of cross-referenced what Common Man Football, his numbers, with ESPN's. And so the Kaiser number at the end of the video is actually ESPN's total quarterback rating, which is different than what Common Man Football does. I think ESPN, they give a little bit more value to third down conversions or something like that. So their numbers, although are good, they're just different, and I kind of mixed them. So Kaiser's numbers are probably a little bit closer to what Jared Goff did, which, if you remember, was at the very bottom. He had like a 3 or something like that. So my apologies to Carson Wentz for the equal comparison to him and Kaiser. But the value of what I said is it's still just, I believe, and some of Eagles Truth's comments kind of supports that a little bit about, you saw the disparity between Dak and Cody to Carson and Jared Goff, which I think all of them are going to be very good quarterbacks. I think they're kind of, the future in the NFL, which is kind of exciting with this next quarterback. But anyway, I digress back to Eagles Truth comments about how good Dallas was, their line, their defense. They were really a total package, went very far into the playoffs. I believe it was the Green Bay game, pretty close. They gave them a pretty good run for their money. However, this does help move my point about some of the things he says about how Carson was putting, his back on the line for the team. I'm not really sure how true his comments are. I'm pretty sure the Eagles were better than the Browns, though. I didn't totally compare numerically, production-wise, but he kind of helps prove my point that it's very possible that Wentz would have done very bad here in Cleveland, putting his back, on the line probably every game if he'd have started, so he would have been doing these rookie mistakes, throwing into, holding onto the ball too long, sacked fumbles, throwing, downfield into triple coverage, trying to be the Superman, win the game for him. So I really appreciate Eagles Truth for his comments. I can't say that enough. I hope he even comments on this. But ultimately, I want to talk about the Nick Foles, the near trade, the near miss or whatever. Let's just kind of run that down. The Browns were willing to give the Eagles the 35th pick for Nick Foles. This is how we understand it. The Eagles, if I understand this correctly, went to Nick Foles and said, hey, we got this, you could go to the Browns, 35th pick, something like that, and asked him what he thought about it, from what I understand, what he would want to do. And of course, he chose to stay with the Eagles, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, some of our media, they kind of look at it as like, well, hey, you could start here, you would be our guy, blah, 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 but to go from a Super Bowl team to the worst team in the league, I'm not really sure how nobody would understand why you would want to stay at the Eagles, Of course, I kind of laugh, but it seems obvious, but they, that kind of, serve in heaven or rule in hell, I mean, a lot of bad stuff could happen to Nick Foles here. We just got a number one pick in Baker Mayfield, and that stirs things up, kind of ill a little bit. I mean, look what's still got in this debate whether Tyrod's going to start. The media is still kind of trying to pull, like maybe Baker should start, but or maybe not really. But something Baskin said I thought was really cool. From Baskin and Phelps, and Baskin said how they went to him. It wasn't like a Belichickian type, like, hey, we get to start, you're out of here, we got this 35 pick. I thought it was really cool that they went to him and talked to him like the good guy, deal. You know, they went and talked to this guy, you know, to Nick, and asked him what he thought. You know, and obviously he probably, you know, wanted to stay there, which I do want to talk more about that a little bit later. But I like that this happened. Or I'm sorry, I like that this didn't happen. You know, if you see my other videos, I'm a huge Nick Chubb fan. I like that we got him at 35. Who knows what the hell would happen if we didn't have that 35 pick, you know, with getting, I believe it's Austin Colton and stuff like that, which I want to talk about in some other videos, because I like him too. But to not have Nick Chubb, like, kind of scared when I first heard it, you know, because I really like him. I think he's going to be very good for us for a long time. But the other thing, which was the Eagles kind of being like this, you know, obviously they won the Super Bowl, but they're kind of like the good guys won, you know, good guys finished first. So, I mean, not only did I like a lot what they did with Carson, with the dink and dunk, and just kind of letting the team beat, you know, and then like eventually, like Eagles Truth was saying, how he puts the team on his back and starts probably throwing into triple coverage and stuff like that. But they really did a good thing with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. And, you know, what do you think Nick Foles is thinking? You know, I mean, Carson got hurt both years. He got hurt in preseason, and he got hurt, you know, last year trying to make that run to the end zone. So, I mean, is Nick Foles thinking it's very possible, I mean, it's almost statistical that Carson might get hurt again this year, and the Eagles are going to be relieved that they got Nick Foles to come in after him, and he, you know, he was calm as a cucumber. You know, he did very well at the end of the year. He's a good quarterback. You know, not to mention that 27-2 year he had, which is like phenomenal. You know, nobody really mentions that until, you know, he goes and wins the Super Bowl. But, you know, it seems pretty obvious to me that Nick Foles is a pretty good quarterback. You know, and like I said, what's he thinking? Don't you think if he's a quarterback, he probably thinks he's better than Carson Wentz? You know, so he might, you know, he's still got possibilities to actually win this job. And it doesn't seem like it now because he's like that number 2 guy, but just of, you know, what he's thinking. So I'm kind of glad, like I said, that this didn't happen. I'm glad that actually, you know, good for the Eagles. You know, they got their number 2 guy, and everybody would feel comfortable if Carson gets hurt again of him coming in. So, and I like that it didn't happen for us because I like Nick Chubb. So it's kind of like, you know, that's just how a trade's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen, you know, good for both teams. So that near miss, I'm just kind of glad we missed, you know. So that's kind of all I guess I have to say. I didn't hear too much more about that other than that. But again, Eagles Truth, thanks for commenting. That really helped me out, and it helped support some of the stuff I was saying. My apologies to Carson Wentz for attributing his numbers. You know, the 29 that I saw, you know, it's very easy to do that. And when you're using those numbers, those analytics, you got to stick with the same guy and use their numbers. You know, you can see where I kind of fucked up there, and, you know, my apologies. So, hey, I'm Rudy G. Funk. God bless. Peace.